have Joe Wright and MGM that are partnering on a fairly big production, stage to film project. So yeah, Cyrano. It's got a cast in place. I think MGM are in a really interesting place right now. They're hungry. Um, as you know, just during the COVID times, I think they've attached themselves to a lot of projects, clout-worthy projects. And for Joe Wright, I think this is sort of like, again, another chance for him to explore a different facet of where his interest might lie. And so yeah, so what are your thoughts about Joe Wright sort of exploring the stage to film or the musical element, and and of course the chosen quartet.
Yeah, so this is an interesting project. It's being led by Peter Dinklage and Haley Bennett, who both did this production together on stage, and so they're going to reprise their roles here. For Joe Wright, he's a director who has moved from genre to genre, not always with success, but certainly with a lot of ambition. Um, it was 5 years ago that he came out with Pan, which did not do well. I mean, I'm probably one of the few who will defend that film, but that did have musical elements to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel this is an opportunity for him to step back and maybe step more fully into a musical mode. Um, so that's an interesting facet for me. The supporting cast is equally interesting. He's got Ben Mendelsohn, uh, who sang on the Lost River soundtrack. So he's perhaps going to be singing a bit more than we're used to here. And Brian Tyree Henry, who's just in everything now, which is great. But he's a really good supporting piece of this puzzle as well. So, and Brian Tyree Henry is actually in The Woman in the Window, Joe Wright's film, which is moving from Fox to Netflix and has been plagued by rumors of reshoots. Uh, so we'll see what happens with that film. But it's interesting. I mean, I think Joe Wright, he isn't always successful, but he's a filmmaker that I kind of like to see what he's doing, because when he gets into the zone, he's very exciting to watch.
Yeah, I think for fans of cinema, they can cherry pick their title to defend. Personally, for me, it's Atonement. But um, one thing's for sure is that this will be a much more contained project, and so during these crazy times, perhaps production will be that much less difficult. Um,
Maybe, but they're also singing. So, I mean, talk about like breathing into the air. That's going to be a challenge. Um, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the scale of the film is. And I think the other element here is that two members from the National are doing the music, which is certainly, that alone will put the film into. It's going to attract a lot of attention based on that alone, I think. So yeah, this is a very high-profile project for everyone involved. And anytime Hollywood makes a musical, it's not a genre that the studios touch upon very often. But as we saw with La La Land, when it hits, when it really connects, it could be, this could be a huge, huge deal. So I think it's certainly one that, no matter the size of the production, could have a lot of legs.
You bring on some really good points there. I'm Eric Lavallée. I'm editor-in-chief and site owner for IONCINEMA.com. And this is
Kevin Jagernauth, contributing writer for the playlist.
And together we are IndieSponge.